Cheap, simple, fantastic. No need for the stovetop or oven, made by hand with just a sturdy spoon and a large bowl. This is not your grandma's peanut butter fudge recipe. We are going to make 2¼ pounds of this fabulous candy for well under $10 US. Hello and welcome to Jackson's Job. Now go wash your hands because we're going to need squeaky clean ones. First, let's gather our ingredients. You are going to need 1 pound jar of peanut butter that's 454 grams. I recommend creamy peanut butter, but crunchy does work. You will need 1 pound of powdered sugar, that's also 454 grams, or 1/2 of a bag. Next, you will need 1/2 a cup, that's 1 stick of butter, and you want it softened, so you're going to have to leave it out about an hour or so before you make this recipe, depending on how warm it is in your house. The 2 optional ingredients are 1/2 teaspoon of salt, that's 2.5 grams, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, or imitation is fine, 5 milliliters. These 2 ingredients are not essential to the recipe, but they do help balance out the sweetness and bring a depth of flavor. First thing you want to do is prepare a pan. I'm using an 8-inch square pan, which is 20 centimeters. This is a good size for 64 bite-sized pieces. What I do is simply flip over the pan and mold the aluminum foil to the bottom, flip it right side up, and nestle that aluminum foil in place. Let's set this aside and get to making our fudge. In a large bowl, we have some really softened butter. We don't want it separated and oily, but soft enough that you can easily spread it against the sides of the bowl like this. If it isn't this soft, stop and wait a little longer. You don't want lumpy fudge. If it is separated and greasy, you went too far, but you can fix it by adding more powdered sugar, so don't panic. It's just going to be a lot sweeter in the end, but it will still be delicious. We're going to use peanut butter. Scrape the sides out as well as you can to get as much of that peanut butter into the bowl. You don't want to waste any if possible. We are going to stir the peanut butter and butter together until it's very smooth. We don't want to see any streaks of butter once this is well combined. With the smell of this yummy peanut butter, you're going to start seeing all of our dogs hovering in the background. Let's discuss the optional ingredients real quick. First, we're going to add in that salt, and the salt helps balance out the sweetness and really bring out that peanut butter flavor. However, if you are watching your salt content, you can leave it out completely. Then we are going to add in some vanilla, and the vanilla gives it a really nice depth of flavor, which is completely optional. If you don't have vanilla, you can use imitation vanilla, or you don't have to use it at all. You can also use another flavor to give it some kind of little hint, like some maple or even just a squeeze of honey. These are not essential ingredients. They just help make it taste a little bit better. So whether or not you used it, once these are all mixed together, we're going to start adding in our powdered sugar. Now please do not be tempted to add all the powdered sugar in at once. If you do this, you are going to have a gritty, lumpy mess. It's not going to taste good. So you do need to add this in gradually so you'll have a nice smooth peanut butter fudge. Add in 1 heaping spoonful at a time, and we are going to stir this in. At first it's going to be lumpy, but as you continue to stir it, it will smooth out. Continue to add that powdered sugar a spoonful at a time, stirring between each spoonful so that you get rid of any lumps. After you have added quite a bit of powdered sugar, you may feel like it's getting way too tough to stir. You actually may feel like you're going to break your spoon. If you want at this point, you can use your hands and knead the mixture together. This is why you really want super clean hands for this recipe. At this point, using either your hands or your spoon, you're going to continue to mix this until you no longer see any powdered sugar whatsoever. We have now added an entire pound of sugar. Yes, that is a lot of sugar. But go ahead and give it a taste right now. If it is not sweet enough for you, you can add up to another pound of sugar, a spoonful at a time, doing the exact same method of stirring or kneading by hand. You want to taste each time you finish adding in a spoonful so you don't add in too much. Please note, the more sugar you use, the grittier and drier this fudge is going to taste. We are trying to go for a smooth and creamy texture, so that's why we're only using the 1 pound. Yes, this is not a true peanut butter fudge. This is more of a filling similar to what you see in Buckeyes, bonbons, or peanut butter eggs. We call it fudge. However, it is delicious, super easy to make, fun, great to make with your friends and family, and a fabulous tasting fudge that doesn't need refrigeration or any special equipment or time. This is a great gift. What is not to love about this recipe? Don't get caught up on semantics. Okay, this is completely mixed together, so we are going to transfer this into our pan and begin to press it down firmly into an even layer as possible. If you like, you can take a piece of wax paper, put it on the top, and press on the wax paper to make it a little less messy. Take your time here and smooth it out as best as possible. Once this is smoothed out, this becomes the hard part, waiting. You're going to cover the pan with plastic wrap or aluminum foil, place it in the fridge, and you want it to sit until it's firm enough to slice. Once the fudge has firmed up, we are going to cut this into roughly 1-inch squares. That's about 2.5 centimeters. You're going to slice it 8 across and 8 down. This will give you 64 bite-sized pieces, perfect for sharing with your friends and family, or as a gift, or at a party, or even for just yourself. That was easy to do, wasn't it? Yes, it's not a true fudge. We call it fauxdge, but it's simple, cheap, easy, fun, and a very tasty treat. Let's see what our test tasters think of this. Since this is a very, very sweet recipe, I'm actually giving them something else. I'm giving them their little treats, and they don't even know the difference, but feel very included. I do not recommend giving this much sugar to your furry friends, and we won't even talk about how it's not ideal for us. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. Thank you for watching, and as always, happy baking.